Hello, everybody. Sevalar here, and welcome to the second episode of Warframe Research. So, I got something a little interesting for you today. If you saw my previous video, if you saw the first episode of Warframe Research, you know what I have in store for you today. But I gave it a little bit of an interesting twist. I think it will handle well and the content we're going to throw it at. I'm thinking probably a round of disruption for this gun. But that said, let's get into it. So the weapon I have today is Tiberon Prime. This thing is a pretty unique gun. You have your standard assault rifles, auto trigger. You have other burst, maybe a semi trigger or a burst trigger. This one has all three. So it starts out as burst. You can swap it to semi and auto whenever you want. They have different crit stats and status stats. So semi is more crit heavy, auto is more status heavy, and burst is just a balance between both. But outside of that, it's pretty much just an assault rifle. Doesn't get much simpler than that. So if you want to get Tiberon Prime, there are a multitude of relics in the game that allow you to get the parts for Tiberon Prime so that you can craft it for yourself. However, Tiberon Prime is vaulted, and Zephyr Prime comes on Prime Resurgence every so often. In order to get the Prime stuff, you'll want to farm Aya through various means. It's bounties. You can do open world bounties, or you can speedrun void captures. As you can see, looking up Tiberon, there is a number of places, a number of relics that you can get it from. All that said, let's get into the build. So, I have for you here a headshotter build. Corrosive and cold. So, alright. Unique trait. Alternate fire switches between burst, semi, and auto firing modes. For this test, for this research episode, we're not going to worry about that. For this research episode, it's burst only, and that's because of critical precision. Burst fire only. Headshots increase crit chance by 10% up to 500%. Missing with all shots in a burst removes up to 100% of this bonus critical chance. So it's going to be important that we aim our shots and hit them where it hurts. We have high voltage, electric, and status chance. We have malignant force, toxin, and status chance. Those two will combine for corrosive damage. And then on the elementals, we have cryo rounds for cold damage. Now, I wasn't sure what else to put in this spot, so we have critical delay for some critical chance, and then vital sense for critical damage. Them crits are gonna hurt, man. They're gonna hit real spanking hard. And these two together are gonna be like 700% crit chance boost. So this thing is gonna pack a mean punch. I am fully expecting to see red crits with this build. We have galvanized aptitude for status chance, and when you kill an enemy, it will increase the damage dealt to that enemy for status affecting the target. With corrosive and cold increases crit damage on an enemy, corrosive reduces armor. This should double tap, and yeah, we'll probably be able to see some pretty nice numbers if we get it all right. We finally have primary acuity, as we're going to be aiming for the head anyways with critical precision. We got weak point damage and weak point crit chance, but the multi-shot cannot be modified. To be sure, I don't know what else I would do. I previously had a build that used galvanized chamber, but there's an anti-synergy between split chamber and primary acuity, so primary acuity. And the arcane is primary crux. When you hit a weak point, you gain status chance and ammo efficiency for 10 seconds, which means I'm not going to have to reload as often, which means more damage. At least that's the idea. But this should give a total of 300% status chance, well, 300% increased status chance, which should be an extra 60% status chance. So we're looking at, I'm going to say, plus 100% status chance with the base status chance of 20%. So 120% status chance, and then this is 28% crit chance. So yeah, it should be at least plus 200% crit chance from critical delay plus critical precision. Because it's worth noting, I don't know, you might know this already, but for those of you who do not know, these multiply off of, unless it's explicitly stated otherwise, critical chance increases are generally multiplicative off of the base. But for example, critical delay or creeping bullseye, that's the secondary version. The short version is modded critical chance increases are additive with each other, and it'll multiply from the weapon's base critical chance. In this case, it's 28%. So 700% of 28, that's off the top of my head roughly 200. So yeah, we should be seeing some red crits, no problem. As for backup weapons, I got Angstrom and Azothane. In case the Tiberon doesn't work out. We'll see how it does, though. We'll see how it does. So I'm gonna give this one 2 tests. First is gonna be the conjunction survival, and then second, I want to see how it goes. I want to see how it handles a disruption. So first is a conjunction survival. I am frankly going to put my vote of confidence in this gun, but we'll see how it goes. Oh, 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 nah, man, we're already seeing 300,000. All right, this is great. This is good. And I like Tiberon, so I'm very happy about this. But it's worth noting we absolutely have to hit an enemy with each burst. Or this guy can just be a bastard. A bastard shithead and steal our gun. Yeah, I mean, this damage is pretty good. We're getting 200,000 per shot. That was an amped up red crit. Yeah, I'm seeing like 49k on these armored enemies. That's pretty good. Now, I think it's also worth noting with these headshotter weapons that they will generally be less practical in a survival situation like this than your average gun. Like, say, Kuva Brahma, for example. Stand still, dude. Thank you. Alright. But yeah, ideally you'd want the enemy to, you know, sit still and let you shoot them. Much more achievable in disruption. In survival, there's just so many enemies, and also the bastards that steal your gun. So, not exactly great. And I'm falling behind on kills here, so I'm swapping to Angstrom. I'll definitely cover my Angstrom build in the future, because, I mean, Angstrom's really good. And I want people to see it, you know. So I would say, kills per second department, Tiberon's probably falling short here. I would also be willing to wager that it'll be a lot different if I did, say, gas status. If I did, you know, blast on the Tiberon, I'd probably say the results would be different. Oh, they're just not satisfied with one. They want both of my guns, man. They just want my guns. They don't even care. And I'm out of life support, man. Even with my Angstrom.
If you have a necromech, this would be an excellent place to deploy it.
Yeah, I gotta life support this, man. I am admittedly rather disappointed about that. But that's the whole point of the research, you know? Good, bad, the weapon is doing what it can. I'm willing to give this another try in the future. Maybe I'll try blast on the Tiberon. It should do a bit better than my current corrosive stuff. So, you know. And that's not to say this is doing bad, you know. Because this isn't doing bad at all. This just isn't the kind of content you would use a Tiberon for. Specifically a headshotter Tiberon. Hey, that's fine. That's just part of the process. Where's the Acolyte? And you can see here, Acolyte, no problem, you know.
The longer you hold out, the deeper I can search. But if you need to leave,
I don't like these, the Thraxlegatus or whatever the hell they're called.
the void risks the unfathomable. I fear we are seeing the consequences of that risk now. Destroy these void-stained enemies.
So I'm gonna knock these guys out, extract from this, then we'll run the disruption, see how it goes. I'm expecting the disruption will do much better. You know, there's no kills per second demand on a disruption compared to survival here. Ugh, no, why is the exit all the way over here? Alright. Well. So yeah. This gun, definitely good for single targets. Wait, hold on, let me, I'm gonna go ahead and bring out my gloom build so that we can actually focus the enemy instead of be running on a wild goose chase after them. Get back here, dude! Stop running! Why are you running? That kind of shit. All right. Yep. So let's get started on this. Wherever them enemies are, you know. And you can see here, it's got no problem against the Corpus. If I can clock an enemy in the head, there is not a problem to be seen. Of course, for this build, you can also run whatever it's called if you want, the primary deadhead. You can run primary deadhead if you want to. I just ran primary crux because I figured it'd be better. Yeah, let's see how it does. Oh yeah, dude, look at that. Look at that. Yeah, just a little bit of aim and kind of just off to the races with this gun. Another sucky note about these, about the fluid disruption. It's always the nullifiers, man. It always is. Alright. Score a few hits, and we'll run over here. Do you have a head hitbox? Yeah, you do. You know, as you can see, you just gotta have a head hitbox on the enemy, and then, you know, they're dust. So this kind of build, you know, if I were to wager, this kind of build would be good for, you know, obviously disruptions. But also places good for disruptions, but probably also places like you know, if you have a Legosite harvest, maybe you could use this as your Legosite killer. I don't know if the Legosite has a weak point or not. Yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and pop this last key and, you know, finish this out. I'd say the only Demolisher you objectively cannot use this kind of weapon on would be the Juggernauts that you find in the infested disruption, Uranus. What are all these rollerballs doing here? Go and get this guy. Yeah, of course you can also do the viral and heat on the gun. But you know, it's kind of up to preference these days. It is kind of up to preference. I personally prefer corrosive and cold for damage types these days. You know, But viral heat is still very viable. It's still, in fact, I think it might still be one of the better status combos in the game. Anyway. Sorry about my non-stop yapping. If you guys liked the video, feel free to like, drop a sub maybe. I'll be doing more Warframe research, so shout out in the comments if you want to see a particular weapon. If you want to see me investigate it a little bit, see what it can do. That said, I will see you guys around.